Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. Hey everyone, today we're diving into something profound, something that could change the way you connect with the women in your life. What if I told you there's a single sentence in it, a romantic gesture, not a grand declaration, but a simple, grounded statement that could anchor you in a woman's heart? Not because it's flowery or charming, but because it's raw, real, and unshakably true. This isn't about saying I love you or sending late-night texts. It's about reaching the part of her that doubts, that hides, that quietly asks, "Do you really see me?" Most guys speak to a woman's ears, tossing out compliments or witty lines to win her over. But few speak to her soul. Fewer still know how to say the words that make her feel safe, seen, and alive in the same breath. The truth is, what captures a woman's heart isn't charm or flattery, it's clarity. It's the kind of presence that cuts through the noise of the world and leaves an echo she can't shake. Right now, a lot of you are holding back, stuck in silence, afraid to speak honestly because you've been told vulnerability is weakness. That's a lie. The man who can look her in the eyes and say, "I choose you not for who she pretends to be, but for who she is when no one's watching," that man lingers in her heart long after others fade. This is your moment. You can keep playing it safe, staying forgettable, or you can dare to say what most men never will and become unforgettable. If you're ready to step up, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below. I choose to speak truth, not tactics. Let's break this down, step by step, and uncover the Stoic sentences that haunt her in the best way, words she'll never forget. One sentence, that's all it takes. Not a pickup line, not a rehearsed compliment, but a single, grounded statement that slips beneath her defenses and takes root. This isn't about being poetic or charming, it's about presence. The kind of masculine presence that doesn't beg to be remembered but simply is. Modern men often talk too much and say too little. They chase validation with flattery, wit, or over-the-top gestures, hoping to earn her interest. But the Stoic man does the opposite. He speaks sparingly, but his words carry weight. They don't chase, they anchor. Take this example. You're free to walk away. Say it calmly, without a trace of defensiveness. And watch the energy in the room shift. Most guys, when they sense a woman pulling back, cling tighter. They plead, explain, or try to fix things, driven by fear of losing her. But a man who says, "You're free to walk away," signals something different, self-worth. He's not begging for her to stay. He's showing her she's not being held, she's being chosen. Paradoxically, by giving her freedom, you make her question whether she wants to leave. This is the power of emotional independence. Women don't remember the man who needed them to feel complete. They remember the man who didn't need them but wanted them anyway. They remember the man who wasn't afraid to lose. Another example, "I don't need you to understand me." At first glance, it might sound cold, but it's note its clarity. It says, "I know who I am, and I'm at peace with that." When a woman hears this, it disarms her. She realizes she can't manipulate or shake this man into seeking her approval. Suddenly, she's the one curious, wanting to understand him. Or consider, peace is more important than winning. Say this in the heat of an argument. When she's trying to pull you into a fight, instead of matching her energy, you diffuse it with composure. You choose stillness over control, becoming the eye of the storm. That image off a man who won't argue just to protect his pride sticks with her far longer than any loud comeback ever could. Then there's, "I can walk away, but I choose to stay." This isn't just attraction, it's a game changer. It tells her she's not a necessity, but a conscious choice. For a woman used to being chased, this is both unsettling and magnetic. These words hit deep because they come from alignment, from a man who's mastered his emotions. He doesn't use words to provoke or manipulate. He states what is. And what is, when spoken with presence, is impossible to forget. She'll hear countless voices in her life, but she'll remember the one that didn't raise itself to be heard. Let's zoom in on one of the most powerful sentences. You're free to walk away. Say it with calm certainty, no anger, no sarcasm, just a quiet statement of truth. To someone untrained in emotional nuance, it might sound passive or indifferent, but to a woman who's emotionally attuned, this line lands like a thunderclap. In one moment, it flips the dynamic and tells her exactly who she's dealing with. When a woman pulls away, Most men react with desperation. They overtext, overexplain, or try to impress, operating from fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of being forgotten. But the Stoic man doesn't chase closure. He embodies it. You're free to walk away doesn't mean you don't care. It means your self-worth isn't tied to whether she stays or goes. It means you're grounded enough to let go of what doesn't choose you. That energy, a blend of peace and power, is rare, and that's why she remembers it. When you speak these words with stillness, you create a space she's not used to. It's a space where her usual tactics, emotional withdrawal, hot and cold behavior, subtle tests didn't work. They don't shake your frame. Instead, she's the one who starts to feel unsteady. This isn't a line meant to provoke. It's a mirror. You're showing her she has a choice, and so do you. You don't need her to stay, but you're not pushing her away either. That neutrality creates emotional tension, the kind that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends, making her wonder, why didn't he fight for me? Or why didn't he need to? From a Stoic perspective, this sentence reflects the highest form of freedom, internal freedom. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. The man who says, "You're free to walk away," has already let go of the outcome. Ironically, that's what makes women want to stay. It's a paradox of power. The man who doesn't cling becomes the one she clings to it, because he manipulates, but because he stands still while the world reacts. If she walks away, you remain whole. If she stays, it's because she respects that you didn't beg for her attention, and she didn't have to beg for yours. That mutual respect lays the foundation for something deeper. And if she's not ready for it, let her go. You'll never lose what was truly meant for you. Imagine this. You're in a conversation with a woman, and things are getting tense. Maybe she's pulling away emotionally, questioning your intentions, or trying to figure out why you're so hard to read. She says, "What are you thinking?" Or "You're impossible to figure out." Most guys rush to explain themselves, hoping to be seen clearly, spilling their thoughts in a bid for connection. But you look her in the eye and say, "I don't need you to understand me." Pause. The room changes. That one line, delivered with calm conviction, hits differently. It's not ego. It's not a power move. It's a boundary, a declaration of self-sovereignty. In that moment, you stop being someone she's evaluating and become someone she can't stop thinking about. Here's why this works. Most women are used to men trying to be understood. They overshare, overexplain, or seek sympathy through emotional exposure. And while vulnerability has its place, desire thrives in mystery. When you detach from the need to be understood, you become a puzzle she wants to solve, not out of obligation, but curiosity. This line flips the dynamic. It says, "I know myself, and I don't need your approval to be at peace with who I am." That kind of internal confidence is rare, and it's magnetic. From a Stoic perspective, this is self-containment in action. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do what you do, when you stop performing for approval, you attract attention in a new way, without effort. When you say, 'I don't need you to understand me,' you ripple through her frame. She realizes this man doesn't orbit around her. He's not here to be dissected or softened. He's complete, with or without her validation. The psychological effect is profound. You become the one she wonders about. When the conversation ends, the one she replays in her mind. The one she mentions to her friends, not because you were loud, but because you were quietly unshakable. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about ownership. You're not building walls. You're showing you already live in a fortress. When a man no longer needs to be understood, he becomes unforgettable, not because he tried to be, but because he stood firm in who he is. Picture this. You're in the middle of a heated disagreement. Her voice sharpens, the tension builds, and you feel that familiar pull, the urge to prove you're right, to defend yourself, to win. Most guys give in. They argue, match her energy, or try to dominate the conversation. But you don't. You take a breath, look her in the eye, and say, "Peace is more important than winning." The room softens. This sentence is a reset button, a boundary wrapped in calm. It doesn't surrender, it transcends. You're not backing down from truth. You're rising above ego. Most men in conflict fight for control. They want to be heard, validated, or proven right. But the Stoic man values something deeper, inner stillness. When you say, peace is more important than winning, you shift the emotional landscape. You show her your identity isn't on trial, that you don't need to win an argument to feel whole. You've let go of the emotional tug-of-war. From a Stoic lens, this is strength. As Seneca said, he is most powerful who has power over himself. Your restraint becomes the loudest thing in the room. You don't silence her with volume. You silence chaos with composure. And here's the twist. That stillness is wildly attractive. It's rare. It makes her feel safe. In a world full of reactive men, you become the calm center of her storm. Most women don't want a man who always agrees. They want a man who can hold space. When things get messy, who doesn't flinch when emotions rise? Who doesn't add fuel to the fire just to feel superior? This line proves you can stand in the heat and not be burned. Psychologically, it shifts her perspective. She no longer sees you as an opponent, but as a mirror. If she's emotionally intelligent, she'll follow your lead. If not, you walk away unshaken, your peace intact. This isn't passivity, it's anchorage. You're not afraid to speak truth, but you choose your battles. You fight for what matters and walk away from what only feeds pride. In the end, your peace is the real victory. Imagine standing face to face with a woman who's used to being chased, who's heard every version of I need you or I can't lose you. Instead of pleading, you look at her calmly and say, I can walk away, but I choose to stay. It's not a threat. It's not a tactic. It's a declaration of strength and freedom. This single sentence reframes everything. It says, you don't hold me here. I'm not trapped by attachment. I stay because I want to, not because I have to. From a Stoic perspective, this is the ultimate test of power. As Epictetus said, he who is not a slave to necessity is truly free. When you stay in a relationship not out of fear, but out of conscious choice, you operate from clarity, not compulsion. This line stirs to powerful emotions in her, safety and tension. Safety, because it shows you're not acting out of desperation. Tension, because it reminds her you're not afraid to leave. In that delicate balance, attraction deepens. Psychologically, this is magnetic. Most people stay in relationships out of habit or fear. But when you say, I choose to stay, you become unpredictable, erratic, but independent. This independence highlights a critical truth. Real connection isn't built on possession, but on presence. You're not staying because she completes you, you're staying because you're already complete, and still find her worthy of your time and energy. That's a different kind of love, one based on freedom, one that invites rather than traps. When a woman hears this from a man who means it, it hits her core. She realizes she's not being clung to, she's being chosen, moment by moment, by someone who could walk away but doesn't. If she can match that energy, the connection becomes electric. If not, you walk away without guilt or anger, because choosing to stay is only powerful when it comes with the ability to leave. She's overthinking, guarded, trying to hide behind control. Maybe she's insisting she's fine, but her tone says otherwise. Most guys try to fix it logically or back off in confusion. But the Stoic man observes. He waits. Then, with quiet confidence, he says, I know what you need, even when you don't. The air shifts. This isn't arrogance, it's attunement. It's the rare ability to see her behind the mask, even when she doesn't fully see herself. In a world where most people are too distracted to notice, this sentence stops her. For a woman, few things are more powerful than being understood without having to explain. It cuts through the noise. It says, you don't have to perform here. I see you. Most men wait for her to spell out her needs clearly, but emotional needs are often unspoken. The man who can read the silence, the shift in her tone, the flicker in her eyes, that man stands apart. This line sticks with her because it makes her feel safe, not just to be emotional, but to be herself. From a Stoic perspective, this is the wisdom of presence. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you train your mind to be observant and still, your words carry a different weight. This line isn't a magic trick. It's a reflection of how well you pay attention. You're not trying to control her experience or meeting her where she is, with no demand in return. That energy is what makes you unforgettable. It creates emotional tension in the best way, leaving her wondering, how does he see through me? How did he know? That mystery builds trust, respect, an attraction not from charm, but from depth. You can only say this authentically when it's true. You earn the right to say it by observing, understanding, and choosing presence over performance. When you do, she'll not only hear it, she'll feel it. The man who understands without prying, who provides without controlling, becomes the one she thinks about long after he's gone. There's a moment in every connection where power quietly shifts. Maybe it's after an argument, when she pulls away to test your reaction, or when she hints she could leave, expecting you to plead. Instead, you look her in the eye and say, "I don't fear losing you." Time stops. This sentence, delivered with calm liberation, hits like lightning. It's not resentment. It's not a dare. It's a statement of emotional sovereignty. Most men operate from fear of rejection, abandonment, or being left behind. That fear bleeds into the dynamic, making them predictable, controllable, forgettable. But when you show that your sense of self isn't tied to her presence, you become something else entirely, a man she cannot manipulate and cannot forget. From a Stoic lens, this reflects the highest form of power, self-sourced certainty. As Seneca said, "A wise man is content with himself." You don't threaten or guilt-trip her. You acknowledge a truth most people avoid. Love, to be meaningful, must be freely chosen, not clung to. When she hears, "I don't fear losing you," it plants a seed in her subconscious. Most men react emotionally when they feel distance, rushing to fix things or beg. But you choose stillness, clarity, silence. That contrast unsettles her in the most captivating way. She wonders, why doesn't he chase? Is he that sure of his worth? This isn't indifference's choice. You care, but that care doesn't enslave you. You love, but not at the cost of your peace. You're present but never dependent. That balance, that emotional discipline, makes you magnetic. The moment you stop fearing her absence is when she starts fearing yours. She's guarded, putting up walls, maybe deflecting with humor or insisting she's fine when her eyes say otherwise. Most guys miss it, taking her words at face value or pushing for answers she's not ready to give. But you see through the facade. You look at her and say, "I see you, even when you hide." This line is a gift. It's not about fixing her or forcing her to open up. It's about acknowledging her truth without demanding she explain it. In that moment, you become a safe space not because you solve her problems, but because you recognize her without judgment. For a woman, being seen in her vulnerability, without having to perform, is rare and powerful. It's a moment she'll carry with her. From a Stoic perspective, this is the practice of mindfulness. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." When you train yourself to observe deeply, to notice the unspoken, your words gain a quiet authority. This line works because it's not about you, it's about her. You're not seeking validation or trying to prove your insight. You're offering her a mirror, showing her she's known, even in her silence. The psychological impact is profound. She might not respond right away, but she'll feel it. She'll remember the man who saw her when she felt invisible, who didn't push her pride but simply acknowledged her truth. That kind of presence lingers, not because it demands attention, but because it offers understanding. It's not the loudest man she remembers, not the funniest, not the one who sent the most texts or bared his soul on the first date. It's the one who said the least but meant every word. The one whose sentences carried the weight of self-knowledge. The one who didn't speak to impress but to reveal. In a world of noise, what sticks isn't volume meets vibration. The Stoic man, measured, composed, intentional, speaks with a frequency that lingers in her nervous system long after the moment passes. Why? Because his words aren't tricks, they are truths. You're free to walk away. I don't need you to understand me. Peace is more important than winning. I can walk away, but I choose to stay. I know what you need, even when you don't. I don't fear losing you. I see you, even when you hide. Each one reflects inner stillness, not a script to memorize, but a mindset to embody. These aren't phrases for effect, they are echoes of emotional mastery. When a woman hears these words from a place of truth, something shifts inside her. Not because they're poetic, but because they disrupt the pattern. She's used to men reacting, pleading, performing. She's not used to a man who says little but says exactly what needs to be said, without apology or hesitation. That's what makes him unforgettable. From a Stoic perspective, This is the essence of logo speech that reflects reason, restraint, and alignment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. A man who trains his thoughts in stillness speaks from a different source, not emotion, not ego, but clarity. These phrases land because they don't beg for understanding, they command it. They don't seek approval, they reflect identity. They don't try to control, they release. When she replays your voice in her head, it's not because you talk the most. It's because your energy, wrapped around a single sentence, etched itself into her memory. She'll meet others, have conversations, but there will be moments when she remembers how you looked at her when you said something she wasn't ready to hear but couldn't forget. The way your words didn't ask for permission, they simply were. That is the true signature of the Stoic man, not in the noise he makes, but in the echo he leaves behind. You came into this unsure, maybe thinking it was about saying more, doing more, proving yourself. But now you know, it was never about effort. It was about alignment, about honesty, about saying the one thing no strategy or script can replace, the truth of what you see in her, without needing anything in return. That kind of presence is rare, and when a woman feels it, she doesn't forget it. Your power isn't in how loud you speak, it's in how deeply you see and how boldly you say what you mean when it matters most. The Stoic man doesn't chase attention, he commands it through clarity and restraint. His words don't fill the silence, they shape it. They don't demand love, they inspire it. They don't cling to connection, they create it. So if you're done with pretending, if you're ready to connect for real, take this with you. The words that change hearts are spoken from a quiet mind and a fearless soul. Like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I speak from depth, not performance. Keep showing up, keep speaking truth, and know that the man who masters his words masters his impact, not just in her heart, but in the world. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.